Okay, I think maybe now we can start.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Thank you, everybody, to be here. Today we are going to be talking about Ectoin natural and Glycoin natural, the next generation backbone of advanced skincare. I'm happy to be here. Um, I just had a very fresh drink. I don't know what you guys are having to start your afternoon. I hope you are also having a sunny day and refreshing yourself well. I am gonna start introducing myself. I am Marina. I am the founder of TUPI Beleza. I am a pharmacist, a cosmetic engineer, and a product creator. I am here today thanking already Covalo and Bitop AG for this invite to host the webinar. And today I'm very happy, and we are going to be talking about preventing damage before it really becomes visible. How these two extremolites, ecto in the natural and glyco in natural, can be the backbone of the modern protect and repair skincare. We can go to the next slide, please. Oh, sorry. First, I'm also introducing Covalo and Bitop. Covalo is the world's largest personal care ingredients platform with more than 80K ingredients listed just in personal care. Covalo is making the industry more sustainable, transparent, and innovative, bringing a lot of nice moments for us to interact. Bitop, in the other side, is a pioneer in extremal lights, founded in 1993, a driven company located in Germany with ultra high quality biotechnology raw materials production that are answering to ISO 13485 for cosmetics, life science, and healthcare industry. It's also a medical device development based in Ectoin and a manufacturer of Ectoin natural, Glycoin natural, and Ectoin oil. Um, the agenda of the day. Sorry, we went through the agenda of the day, but a big point about ectoin and glycoin natural is that they are very important ingredients emerging as next generation backbone for protection, repair, and skin longevity. Ingredients like these are very much reshaping the future of high performance in skincare, and they are powerful, they are natural, they help support skin resilience by against environmental stressors while improving overall skin comfort. We skipped the slides, but I'm gonna just go through the what are the topics that we are gonna talk today. We are gonna talk about the modern challenge of stressed and inflamed skin, the global protection and repair trend, the next gen protective active for smart formulation strategies. We are going to have a question and answers live chat and close with a little conversation and specific remarks. I invite Disha to introduce yourself, please.
Thank you so much, Marina. Hello, everybody, and thank you for your time and joining us for today's webinar. My name is Disha Patel, and since 2022, I've been associated with Bitop as a part of their cosmetics business unit. Representing them as the senior sales and business development manager. I have over 10 years of experience in the FMCG and personal care industry and have shifted in various fields including R&D, sales, marketing, strategic business development. So it's finally good to see and look across a decade of experience. It's always exciting. The beauty industry is a very exciting industry to work with. And as Marina rightly said, today I'm here to talk about our two powerhouse miracle molecules, Ectoin natural and Glycoin natural. And I'm very happy to be a part of the webinar. And thanks to Kovalo as well for the support in organizing this.
I'm sure that if you've been visiting any cosmetic event, you've already seen our lovely Disha. Disha is always there, very happy and ready to help you out with very great discussions and a lot of knowledge. So I am happy to know her already for some times. We already had some moments together with pizza in Italy. That was very nice. And we now get into our first poll. I ask you guys to let us know a little bit what are the current skincare trends and popular claims uh, globally. What are you really working on? Do you have these goals? What is it that's pulling you a little bit more? Okay. We give a little bit, one more minute maybe for people to interact with our poll. We are very curious to know what are you guys focused on in terms of trends. So it would be nice to have your engagement on that. And I feel already very pulled to start talking about ectoin and glycoin as the great ingredients that they are. But first, we will touch some topics about the modern challenge of stressed and inflamed skin. Okay, so when I think about modern challenge that our skin needs to overcome, I instantaneously think on the extreme conditions and quick changes, overexposure to blue light, constant contact with heavy and air pollution, and all the problematic things that we can start listing that are there in the exposome, exposing us, our skin, our hair, everything to some damage. And all these conditions, they will weaken the skin, leading to a very stressed situation, prone to barrier exposure, oxidative stress, and inflammation. Problem is that once the skin barrier is disrupted, skin homeostasis is compromised, protection is under alarm, and maintaining skin healthy is a critical and very challenging. Consequently, more than new product development increasingly focus on preventing damage rather than repairing it. It's been a trend that it's popping up as something very important. And barrier repair isn't a trend anymore. It's a must for performance skincare, and it's mandatory for achieving your audience, your consumers. Since I think since we had the pandemic, that we started cleaning too much our hands and understanding the balance also of the microbiota and all the knowledge that we are growing behind that, we see the importance of the skin barrier. Consequently, we have more and more product development focus on preventing the damage rather than repairing it. Following these trends and ideas, we have modern new product development using strong claims as anti-pollution protection, anti-inflammation, and I think Disha has something, a very nice way of us talking about inflammation or inflammaging, something
Yes.
like this. Disha, would you like to come in and share with us?
Sure. So basically, anti-inflammation is one of the evergreen trends. It's following up anti-aging and skin hydration because it's one of the classics or basics. And everything in our skin, which is aging, actually starts from inflammation. And therefore, we are right now looking at a new terminology that is just coming into the industry, which is inflammaging. So it's everything that is related to aging, but related to the inflammation. Now, this was definitely scientifically defined years ago, but it's just recently that our industry has been focusing on these concepts, also including longevity and other trends. So everything actually circles back to inflammation. So that's kind of the baseline to start working with. And Ectoin is excellent as an anti-inflammation. So it's definitely worth mentioning that it targets or takes care of the most important side effect of a lot of ingredients, excipients, and of course, not just treats your skin, but it also prevents any kind of damage. So it's kind of a package of treatment, cure, and prevention that Ectoin offers.
Yeah, exactly. I am totally agreeing that inflammation is something that we can perceive also in different levels in our body, and we need to treat from inside out, from outside in, for any way that we can try to look at it to avoid it or to keep it under control is the one of the best things for our skin healthy state. Now we are going to talk a little bit about the global protection and repair trend that it's also growing a lot with all these trends that we've just mentioned before. Something that it's also very much on top that we haven't talked is the microbiome friendly skincare. Which I think these new generation of ingredients are also being attentive to it. The global and repair comes to replace the repair after damage. Trends like skin longevity bring us to a prevention first skincare approach, aligns with the idea of maintaining the function to protect and preserve a youthful skin. Minimalistic routines focused in multifunctionality also give us traction for the trends since the use of fewer products with multiple benefits named differently and delivered by different mechanism of actions. So in order for us to be able to deliver one thing, it's good to look into all the mechanisms around that benefit that we are aiming. But please don't get me wrong here. I really love multifunctionality and the practicality of these products, but in the end, they tend to focus in the essential. And this is going to be protecting and repairing the skin. The use of key modern ingredients in the development of the microbiome friendly formulation systems with no negative impact over the skin microbiome is of a great importance. Sometimes ingredients can even help balancing the microbiome by some growth promoting capability. This formulation design is becoming more and more popular as we learn the real impact of the microbiota in our lives. Lastly, in such modern days, exposoma become an important topic and extreme variable on skincare. Pollution is still a growing problem. Sun radiation with its oxidative and inflammaging action increases each year, and our life rhythm pushes to be much in contact with blue light. Uh, and protection is a must in our skincare routine. Um, yeah, consumers now are very much aware of this in a daily basis, and these claims are becoming more important also because of this awareness. more aware we are, more we look for the benefit or to the protection or on how to use the modern calls to our daily life. I think now we can call the second pool. Yes. What are the formulators must have active ingredients properties while creating a multifunctional skincare product? No incompatibility with other actives, meaning stability, broad pH range, should not impart any color or odor to the formula, or should be easy to incorporate into the formula. What is it that you what are the must have topic in your case? That's a difficult one. I think it would really depends on the formulation itself that you are
Yeah,
working.
true.
Sometimes, right? Yeah, because sometimes it depends a lot of the system. Sometimes you are formulating already with a lot of fragrance. Um, yeah, but in general, you as a formulator, what is it that it's a must have for you?
I think for me, also when I started my days, my formulation career, I think the number one thing was always the ease of incorporating an ingredient. Every ingredient comes with certain formulation guidelines, but I think when you're a fresh, young, new formulator or even an experienced formulator, you really need or you wish you have an easy ingredient to work with because a formula has so many ingredients. You want that this should be quite compatible, it should be easily incorporated, not too many instructions for adding this. Okay, you need to check the temperature, you need to check the pH. And so yeah, I think for me actually, yeah, all the four parameters are important, but the ease to incorporate it should be the first, let's say, green tick box for me actually.
Yeah, yeah, it's a topic that it's always there. That's true. Okay. Um, Maybe now I think we are getting to the point where we are
Yes.
gonna finally. First, let's talk just a little bit about smart formulation and strategies for that. Well, these next generation ingredients usually they don't bring only one benefit to your formulation. One of the reasons to be known as the next generation because they are next generation ingredients they need to be multifunctional. They need to cover different benefits or different mechanism of benefits, so you can combine with others or you can use it alone depending on the brief that you are working. Um, but yeah, I think we can pass the slide for the next one, please. Sure. So building an effective formulation. Well, when we want to create something that it's gonna deliver one specific benefit, me as a formulator, what I do, I like to look at the benefit itself. What is it that I want to bring to the formula, and what are the pathways in the skin, in the hair, in the scalp that are involved with these benefits to be able to cover different mechanisms of action and also understanding better how to combine ingredients or how to improve perspective approach of one ingredient itself. So creating effective skin formulators today requires for sure addressing all these pathways at once. Effective solutions need to support multiple defense mechanisms simultaneously, and there is where the multifunctionality of these new ingredients are being key, because most of time you can if you are reformulating, you can replace maybe three ingredients with one ingredient. You really need to study well your formula and everything behind the chemical names, but usually that's how we are going in terms of reformulating for a greener, more sustainable, and more minimalistic, as we were talking. because also consumers want to understand better what is it that they are using. They are much more aware of what how things impact the microbiota of the skin. So we need to be careful on the choice of the ingredients, not only to be natural, but also to be understandable or with a natural um, approach in the ink name, where it becomes very clear for the consumer what is it that he's consuming. Um, I think next slide, please. Yeah, and there is also these protective strategies across product categories. Each kind of system that we work will require an attentive way of maybe stabilizing or maybe incorporating the nice texture for it, and also the protection in terms of how is it that the consumer will use the formulation, and how we can go beyond only application, but also thinking in terms of experience of, we are talking about cosmetics. So experiencing the moment of the use of cosmetics is very important, and protection can be translated with a nice film formation, with a nice touch in the end, and the incorporation of multifunctional ingredients that are going to cover both situations at the same time can also be a strategy into looking for that. And of course, choosing the right active ingredients and these type of jokers that should gonna help you with different benefits in one go are being very important and transformative to formulations. Now I will let Disha present us
Of
Ectoin
course.
Natural, and in following with Glycoin Natural. And if you need my comment on anything, just let me know, Disha.
Sure. Thank you, Marina. So, we will now talk a little bit about ectoin following by glycoin. Before we begin or dig deep into ectoin, what I like to briefly summarize with respect to the USPs for ectoin is that it's a 360-degree powerhouse active ingredient that not only functions for any kind of protection but also repair, and also of course kind of a prevention that we already talked about. So when we look at any kind of claim substantiation that you are looking for, you definitely, depending on the formula that you are trying to develop, you definitely look for natural ingredients, sustainable ingredients. Multifunctionality is also one of the things that is adhered to minimalism as well in a formulation. Ectoine is your go-to ingredient. And I say this because of its clinical efficacy, proven clinical efficacy. We have several in vivo, ex vivo, in vitro studies that actually define the excellent capability and claim substantiation of ectoine, and therefore we call ectoine as the next generation backbone ingredient. This is the reason why we are terming ectoine as a backbone ingredient, because just like other ingredients like hyaluronic acid or niacinamide, for example, which you see in every formulation today, they are good molecules. I don't deny that they are not good ingredients or active ingredients, but they are just ingredients which, I'm sorry, could you please go back to the slide? I think the slide's moving. Thank you. These are the ingredients, for example, where they have one or two specific functions. You cannot expect the niacinamide to have any kind of anti-inflammatory benefits or anti-inflammaging benefits, for example, nor can you expect hyaluronic acid to reduce the redness or irritation on your skin. So, the aim or objective of minimalism and incorporating multifunctional ingredients is that you're able to design a formula that's natural, effective, and also at the same time minimalistic. So that's the reason why in the webinar also today we are promoting ectoin as a powerhouse backbone ingredient, which is the next generation molecule. And that's what I like to open my speech with whenever I'm talking about Ectoin, because it's actually a lot to let's say summarize in certain points. Ectoin, just a little bit about the background of Ectoin. So it's definitely 100% natural multifunctional active. As we talked, it was discovered in 1985 by a very well recognized scientist, Professor Dr. Gelinsky. And Bitop was the first company to commercially bring Ectoin into the beauty industry, into our cosmetic industry. So therefore, we are actually the pioneers of Ectoin, and Bitop is recognized, or Ectoin is recognized by Bitop. We are the original Ectoin manufacturers. And basically, ectoine is an extremolite because of its, let's say, properties. So extremolites are molecules which are able to withstand extreme heat, punishing colds, and any kind of salinity, for example. And they produce, there are certain microorganisms, for example, the halophilic bacteria Halomonas elongata. That is what is the origin of ectoine. These microorganisms are able to withstand, for example, the high salinity, because they're able to produce extremolites, and ectoine is one such extremolite. Can we go to the next slide, please? When we talk about ectoine in general and its capabilities, so all the properties of ectoine as an extremolite, which is to withstand the heat, withstand cold, and all the properties attributed are basically leading to a broad claim substantiation. So when we look at the claim substantiation of ectoine, it, of course, is including but not limited to the following. So we have global anti-pollution, we have blue light protection, anti-aging, long-term hydration. We have a very strong claim for anti-inflammation, where we compare Ectoin with a hydrocortisone cream to show that it's a best steroid replacement, and it gives an equivalent efficacy like a hydrocortisone cream. And of course, we do have the lightening and brightening claim for Ectoin, and microbiome support. When we talk about the certifications, we do have EcoCert, Cosmos, Natru. These are the certificates adhere to also the Ectoine portfolio. So it's 100% natural, and approved by all the cosmetic certifications as well. Can we go to the next slide, please? A little bit about why ectoine is a very unique molecule with so much of capability as a multifunctional active is because it is having a very unique mode of action, which is to form ectoine hydrocomplexes. So you need to think of ectoine as a magnet in simple language, where it attracts the water molecules to itself. And these water molecules, you need to imagine several such water molecules which are being attracted on the top of your lipid bilayer that help the stabilization of your lipid bilayer, thereby improving the hydration and definitely improving certain activities underneath. So, for example, there is increased or improved fluidity in the cell membrane. What that leads to is a higher activity of cell self boost mechanism, of defense and repair mechanism, basically. And when there is a protection and stabilization of the cell membrane, it actually reduces any kind of stress. So, for example, the oxidative stress that's causing any kind of damage to your skin, and also stops any kind of inflammatory cascade. So, it's very important to understand that ectoine forms a protective layer on the top of our skin. It's a skin breathable layer. It's not an occlusive or a film former that would block your skin or have any kind of influence, negative influence. It's kind of a second skin, you can say, that's working to protect and prevent your skin from any damage that comes your way. Just a little bit about the composition and technical data for your information. So we have our brand name as Bitop Ectoin Natural. Ectoin is a small cyclic amino acid. To be specific, it's an aspartic acid derivative. It's a natural single molecule. On the left, you see the little image of ectoins. It's a white crystalline powder. We have excellent broad spectrum pH and excellent solubility in water. We do have an oil soluble or oil compatible option, which is ectoin oil for anhydrous formulations. There are no temperature restrictions while formulating with Ectoin, and therefore we call it the formulator's darling, because there are actually no guidelines to follow when you're using Ectoin. You can add it at 70 degrees Celsius boiling water or after emulsification with all the challenging molecules like phospholipids and ceramides or any kind of retinoids, retinols, whatever you want to use. Vitamin C, Ectoin will never have any kind of incompatibility with any other active ingredient. It is patented, and we do have our manufacturing process also patented. So that's why it's one of a kind Ectoin that you see. And as I already discussed, that we do have the certifications, EcoCert, Cosmos, Netru, China applicable as well. Perfect. So that was about Ectoin, and now we move to Glycoin. So before I jump into the details about Glycoin, we call Glycoin as our cell energizing active or the cell energizer. The reason is because glycoin has an excellent capacity to boost the ATP in our skin cells, just like glucose is the food is or serves as a source of energy or food for our body. We need glucose. We need also ATP cells that will generate energy for our skin cells to function efficiently and in a very, let's say, normal manner. And it's that's why glycogen is known as the cell energizer, because it's boosting the ATP in our skin cells, therefore providing skin resilience and skin rejuvenation power, along with providing the energy that your skin cells require to carry on the day-to-day functions your skin needs to carry out. So glycogen is basically also, of course, 100% natural. It's a sugar derivative. Sugar beet is the origin, for curious minds to know what kind of sugar derivative it is. And of course, just like ectoin, we call glycogen the brother of ectoin because it's also an extremolide. It is also a multifunctional molecule. But yes, there are certain differences. We will talk about it in the slides further. But just like I shared that ectoin has its origin from, let's say, the Halomonas elongata. So that's a bacteria. And here, for example, we have as an inspiration, where we get the inspiration from nature to produce glycogen biotechnologically, is this little beautiful plant on the right that you see, which is the Myrothamnus flabellifolia plant. So you look at the plant on the left, it looks like a very dull, dead plant, which is in the dehydrated state, and only with a few drops of water within 24 hours, this plant has the capability to regreen itself. And what is the reason, or why is the plant able to regreen itself? The answer is because it naturally produces glycogen natural or glyceryl glucoside. And therefore, this plant is, for example, able to withstand these longer periods of dehydration. So this plant is found in African deserts, for example, and you can imagine that in a desert there are high temperatures, very scarce rainfall, or no water or no rainfall. And yet, despite of these, let's say, tough conditions, tough environmental conditions, the plant is able to live and, let's say, look like a very beautiful green plant. And glyceryl glucoside is the answer. So we take the inspiration from Myrothamnus plant, and with a biotechnological enzymatic reaction, which is a 100% sustainable production process, we produce glyceryl glucoside at our plant in Dortmund in Germany. Glycoin, as I said, is also a multifunctional active, but here, when we look at the claim substantiation, I would like to highlight the certain differences that ectoin and glycoin have. So, of course, when we talk about the skin renewal power, skin rejuvenation, or promoting growth factors, ATP, SOD, that's glycoin. That would be the USP for glycoin. While we know, or while ectoin is more towards providing long-term skin hydration, we saw the claim that it provides hydration up to 7 days. That's where glycoin differs. Glycoin, yes, it's also working for long term, but it also works for instant hydration after a single application. The similarities between ectoin and glycoin are the following. So, the anti aging efficacy, the blue light protection efficacy, as well as brightening and lightening are the overlapping claims for ectoin and glycoin. And the last, let's say, differentiating claim for glycoin is the 48-hour tissue repair and wound healing claim. So, when we say tissue repair and wound healing, I mean cosmetic wound healing. So, for example, the best example I can give here is of acne, scars, or pimples. So, when people suffer from acne, there are once the acne is treated or cured, they sometimes have a problem with the acne scars. So that's also a kind of wound healing efficacy, and glycoin would be perfect to be, let's say, incorporated into a formulation that works for promoting wound healing of the acne scars, for example, because it would not just heal those acne scars, but it is also providing that brightening and lightening efficacy along with the protection from blue light or sunburn as well. So it's kind of a combination where you can say that it's going to treat your post acne scars, let's say. So that's about glycoin. And we take a quick glance at the technical data. So, as I said, glycoin is also a natural single molecule. It's an enantiomer, also water soluble, and very easy to formulate with glycoin as well. Just like ectoin, it also has a broad spectrum pH from acidic to alkaline with a shelf life of 3 years. The shelf life of Ectoin is 5 years, and the shelf life of Glycoin is 3 years. Also manufactured by a patented production process, which is an enzymatic reaction, as I mentioned before, and also has all the certifications EcoCert, Cosmos, Net True, and worldwide applicable. And the inky goes by glyceryl glucoside and aqua. Perfect. So before we jump into the Q&A sessions, I would just like to take a minute and then allow Marina as well to share her concluding remarks. So it's definitely worth mentioning while I conclude the session that ectoin and glycoin are actually upcoming multifunctional powerhouse active ingredients for all the formulators who are looking to formulate with concepts like minimalism and looking for ingredients that deliver more than one benefits, of course with clinically proven claims, scientific research and references. Please consider evaluating ectoin and glycoin. These are the upcoming active ingredients, and we have so much of clinical data, we have safety and toxicological data, and all the regulatory compliance documentation that is required for any global compliance for any specific country. If you have, if you're having a question about its compliance in certain countries, please feel free to let us know if you have any questions, or if you would like to receive a sample of our ingredients, or have any kind of other curious questions. I would just hand over to Marina to share her concluding remarks before we can go to Q&A. Thank you everybody for listening to me.
Thank you, Disha. This explanation was great. And indeed, I was very impressed with the amount of tests and information that you have in each of these ingredients. Once, just before the webinar, when we were getting prepared, that you shared with me. Test looks very great, and also the product information is super clear. Thank you very much for that. It's not always that we find it easy. And I have here just before we go and jump really into the questions, I want to summarize and I want your help just to understand if I understood everything properly. As a formulator, if the brief come based in barrier repair and inflammation with pollution protection, I would start with Ectoin Natural, right?
Yes.
Okay. And also, in the case of having a brief where cell energizing, instant hydration and brightening, even prebiotic support, I would go to
Yes,
glycoin, right?
absolutely right.
So I think your explanation was very clear.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that. No, no worries. I think it's like that, right? We need to try to make points and make our way of thinking a little bit more practical. And I always think about putting in on topic what a brief could be and what a brief
Hmm.
that I would like to use, either ectoin and
Hmm.
glycoin are these ones that I've told you.
Correct.
Yeah. And if the brief comes with a minimalist mood benefit, then we could go for both, right? Because they can also
Yeah.
complement each other.
Exactly. We do have also
Okay,
clinically
great.
proven efficacy for synergistic effect of a lower concentration and higher of both ectoin and glycoin. So it's kind of probably you don't need another active unless it's your marketing. If you want to add something to, let's say, follow the marketing request. As far as the efficacy is concerned, they both are enough to complete the claims for efficacy.
Okay, great. Thank you very much again. And let's go for the questions. Do you guys
Sure.
have any questions? So let's see. Rita Ferreira. Rita probably is Brazilian or Portuguese, I don't know. Is asking us about prevention is now trending claim on cosmetics. Do you have any tips on how to substantiate claims around prevention in the final cosmetic products?
So,
How to substantiate? Wow, go Disha, please.
oh, okay, sorry. I thought I didn't want to interrupt if you had something to say. Perfect. So basically,
No
when you're
worries, I can
looking at the
complement your thoughts.
Thank you. Basically, when we are looking about substantiation for any kind of prevention claim, it first of all depends on what the product is. Is it a serum? Is it a cream? First of all, because every format has a different delivery system associated with it, and Ectoin can complement every formula type. When we are talking about prevention, you need to, let's say, I have tips, but then you need to, for example, give me some more information with respect to prevention from, is it related to pigmentation? Is it prevention from any kind of further sun damage? Or what kind of, let's say, target claim base are you looking at? Because when we talk about prevention, it can be preventing from sun damage, for example, prevention for future or further pigmentation. If you have a super dull and dehydrated skin and you're working on it to improve the hydration, let's say, okay, wait, she has an information. Could I use Ectoin for prevention claims? Yeah, exactly. You can use it for any kind of prevention. So, prevention from sun damage, prevention from further, let's say, any kind of skin barrier damage. So, for example, the most top two claims currently trending for Ectoin is anti-inflammation, skin barrier repair. We do have instant and long-term skin barriers. So that's a prevention claim. So you can use Ectoin at 1% concentration. If the product allows you to use it at 2%, it's even excellent. But any kind of prevention claim for pigmentation, for irritation, for redness, sun damage, please feel free to use Ectoin at 1% concentration, and you will see the clinical efficacy. We have the studies proven as well. So that's to answer your question.
Yeah, like to complement your thought, Disha would only say not only look into the category specific of the claim, but also into the protocol of the ingredient that you are using and how was tested and what is it that it's allowing you to claim. And also can work both way. You can either formulate with it and decide to choose the claim, or have the claim to work with and look for the ingredients with that specific claim. Another question from Rita is, but what kind of clinical tests would I need to do in the final product? Rita, really depends on the protection that you are targeting. And then also using products, active ingredients that were tested in a specific concentration with a specific protocol. Most of time you can bring these claims also for your formulation. So it's a matter of regulation around the claims that you can do using the choice of ingredients that you have. Does it answer you? Doesn't that claim makes it a medical product and have to be registered as a medicine? What is the claim that you were talking about, Blanca? Sorry. Of course, there are claims, there are medical claims. Everything depends on the wording, on how you
Yeah, so
communicate the benefit
exactly.
that you
And
are
we
achieving.
we as you already saw when we were introducing Ectoin, that we do have a pharma or a medical grade quality of Ectoin, which is med Ectoin. That's a medical grade active ingredient. That's for the pharma industry, let's say. But when you look at, for example, let me just be very simple. If I talk about Japan, it's a quasi drug. Ectoin is registered. Bitop Ectoin is the only Ectoin registered in Japan as a quasi drug. And there, certain claims can also be, for example, a claim which can be a medical or OTC claim. Um, Anything that it says it can treat, for example, acne. Yeah, exactly. So it depends. So, for example, when I go to Japan, when I go to India, this is considered as a cosmetic. Acne doesn't come into medical, let's say, compulsion to be under the medical terms. Maybe if it's for the US, for Mexico, or LATAM, maybe there are different regulations and this could be medical. So, when there is a necessity to register your finished product as a medical device or OTC product, we suggest to use our medical grade Medectoin. That's a total different, let's say, topic. What we promote is Ectoin Natural and Glycoin Natural. These are cosmetic actives. Once again, we use the same ISO 13485 production process, but as everybody here would agree with me that the regulatory compliance for a cosmetic active and a pharma active is totally different. And to respect the US FDA, European Union, also the Japanese regulations, we need to clearly differentiate between the two grades of Ectoin. So um, it just depends, honestly, on the country. What regulation it states. Some countries, anti-acne products can be cosmetics. Some countries, they need to be into OTC drugs, where we have the drug facts and we need to mention certain things. So this is very much subjective to the country and the regulations. So that's all I would say. Maybe Marina, if you have anything to add.
Totally. Yeah, totally that. That's also one of the reasons when you're formulating, before going to formulation, it's very important to understand where the launch is going to be. Because specific regions, specific countries will have specific guidelines on how to formulate what you can and what you can't do. Also, in terms of claims and wording for the communication of the benefits, it's also depending on the region that you are going to launch.
Yeah, I
Um, Manuela sends us a question. Ectoina can be introduced at higher temperature like 85 Celsius, because you mentioned that 70 Celsius. And another question, speaking of both ingredients, in what type of formulation do they perform better?
Yeah, so basically they work for every kind of format and formulation. That 70 or 75, it's just a number. If you listen to another of my speech, I might talk about 90 degrees. The thing is, Ectoin is an extremolite and it has excellent capability to withstand even 100 degrees Celsius boiling water temperature without jeopardizing the efficacy or the chemical entity or the chemical structure. So if you want to formulate a gel, if you want to formulate a cream, cream, depending on the formulation guidelines and other excipients in the formula. You are free to, let's say, incorporate Ectoin before emulsification, after emulsification, because sometimes you want to add it directly with your xanthan gum or with your carbopearls when you're just starting your base, where your temperatures are high. It could be 70, it could be 80, 85, whatever your formula requires. When you're melting your waxes and you have the water phase, you just simply need to remember only one rule for Ectoin is that you need to please add it in your water phase. That's it. You add it in the beginning, you add it in the end. There's no restriction, because it's gonna completely dissolve within 1 or 2 minutes of proper homogenization and stirring. So in what type of formulations is it better? All types of formulation. It can be cream, it can be gel, mists, toners. Even we have wipes, we have the pads, the we have a lot of products with Ectoin, and I have a long list of our success stories to show and actually prove that any kind of format you want to work with, please try Ectoin and you won't be disappointed.
That's great. Disha, I've never used it, and I'm gonna just jump in and ask for you to send me a sample of
Sure,
each,
of
if
course.
you can, because I have two open projects that I'm sure that I can try to formulate with and edit it to have a multifunctionality in my
I'll be happy to.
new
Definitely.
formulas. I think these, yeah. Yes, sincerely, I'm curious to see also the ingredient itself. And also very curious about the ectoin oil, but that's going to be for another moment and
Yes.
another project I will let you know. And I think these were the questions for today, right? We have some key takeaways to conclude our discussion today. And let's go bullet for bullet. Modern skin is constantly exposed to environmental stress and lifestyle factors that weaken cellular function and accelerate visible aging. Advanced skincare formulations increasingly focus on both protection and revitalization. Ectoin Natural protects skin cells against environmental stressor and stabilizes cellular structures. Glycoin Natural reactivates cellular metabolism and supports skin vitality. Together, the two ingredients provide a complementary strategy for modern skin care, combining cellular protection with biological revitalization. This dual approach helps us support stronger, healthier, and more resilient skin in today's challenge environment. Thank you guys very much for being here with us. If you have still questions, don't hesitate to contact us. We are going to be happy to answer. And stay tuned for our follow up and email and reply and replay. Keep in touch. I wish you guys a good end of the day, of the
Thank you,
afternoon.
everybody, for joining
And
us
that
for the
was it.
webinar.
Thank you.